No big deal, that's fine.
No big, come on.
I'm just fixing my hair over there.
There you go. Okay.
Alright.
Al, he has to duck down and be on frame. Okay. Al is doing camera work for us. So is Jake doing camera work. Yay. We have Judy here today visiting from North Carolina. She's painting with us. She has been with us since the beginning. So I'm excited to have her on here. And Jamie's back with us today. He's painting tonight too. So welcome everybody. Oh, and I'm Sarah Cray. Hello. Is that my phone that's making that noise? Okay, so we don't have an outline tonight. And like half of the projects, I try not to have outlines because it's good to try freehand on your own sometimes. And it's good practice. And then they're popsicles. You know what I mean? Like they can be whatever shape you want because maybe some are melted. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Before we get started, I have a couple brushes here. I just used around 10 painting this for the whole time, but I do have a smaller brush here. Like if you just have around 6, that would be perfect. You can do this entire project with a 6. But one brush is fine. Probably something a little bit bigger so you can get a good amount of surface area. And the paints we have tonight are amber yellow, golden brown, daffodil yellow, moss rose, and violet. So we're using these 5. And a couple of them we're going to mix. But before we mix and before we do our warm-ups, we're going to do our oath. Woo. So everybody raise your hand and repeat after me and say, I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to let things go.
I promise to let it go.
And I promise not to compare.
And I promise not to compare.
Thank you. Good job. Okay. So let's get into it. So we're doing tons of different techniques tonight. So if you're new to watercolor, this is a great project to start with because in each popsicle we actually play with different watercolor techniques. So we're going to go over those in our warm-up so we're a little bit more familiar before we start our popsicles. So just go ahead and get your brush wet. I'm just going to use a 10 for this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to use clean water and make a space on our paper. So you could do a square, you could do a circle, you could do a heart, just get a nice wet space area, I guess I should say. And while that's still wet, go ahead and grab some color, and I just want you to drop it in to the wet areas, and I want it to spread. Yep. And just kind of play with that. You can go along the edges, you can go right in the middle, but I want you to see how the watercolor spreads within water. And this technique is called wet on wet. Yep. And then you can also play with, like if you put some water down, like a little bit of water, and you try and drop some color in there and it's not spreading, it could be because there's too much water or there's not enough. So do it a couple of times to make sure, because you'll just start to get used to how much water should be on your paper. So if you don't feel like your color is spreading very well, then try it again with a different amount of water. So this one had a little bit more water than my last one, and so it's kind of spreading a little bit more. Yeah. But this is probably one of my favorite things to do because you are going to get these little veins that come out. Yeah, they're like little fireworks, and like this one got kind of like veiny and spidery, which is super cool. The next thing we are going to do is, actually let's do that same thing. I'm going to do a curve here, kind of like a top of a popsicle, like a half circle. And then I'm just going to put some color in along the top. So I'm just going to follow this top line of where it's wet. And that's it. Yep, perfect. Very nice. And if it's not bleeding as much as you want, you can kind of help it move a little bit. So I'm just going to take my wet brush and kind of just kind of like move it a little bit. like use my brush as a tool to move things around. Yeah. Yep. And then let's drop color in there again. Just see how that plays around. So this project tonight is a lot about just kind of playing around and having fun. That's all we're doing tonight. So kind of just, it's like a big experiment on these different things. Okay, the next thing we're going to practice is doing our value from our dark to light. So I'm going to get my color and I'm going to put some color down, rinse my brush to where it's completely clean. I'm going to start off where I ended and just swoop it back and forth and kind of smear that color out. Yep. And the goal here is to have one side very dark and then to have it slowly get lighter as it goes across. Perfect. Perfect. And that's what and that is called a value change, which is probably, we do this almost every single week because it's probably my most used technique when painting anything. I use this when I paint flowers. I use this when I paint animals. I use this when I do anything I paint, pretty much this is what I'm doing. Yep. And I would even do that one more time. So then the color is almost like barely there at the end. And then the next thing we're going to do is just even washes. So this is a value change where it goes from dark to light. Now we're trying to do the opposite where it's all the same lightness. So this is probably kind of like a medium wash here. And you see I don't have a side that's darker or lighter. I want it kind of all the same lightness level. And to do that, you just kind of go back and forth in that area. Just keep on going. And the water and the pigment will just naturally spread evenly across that area. And then let's do a darker one. So that's my medium one. Our goal is to do a dark, medium, and light. So whatever ones you have to paint next to get that done. This one's going to be my dark.
It's my medium.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Good. I would think that could be your light. That one's your medium. And then I would go darker one more.
Okay.
And then the one I'm going to do next is my light. And it's okay if your light is like barely there. You can see that I didn't even grab new color. I pretty much am just using like the purple paint water as my light. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is between two of the colors or two of the different values, I just want you to add water and connect them. And this is just showing you that you can go back to something after you lay it down, and to blend things out, you pretty much just take like a clean semi-wet brush and you just kind of smear back and forth to blend out lines or to blend out sections, just strong areas. Yep. So you can see on my dark wash, my darkest square, that there's still that original outline, but on my medium one, that outline pretty much disappeared. So as long as your color is not super dark, you can go back to it and blend it out with water.
This is what happens when you use the dark one and it dries.
Yeah, if you use a really dark, strong color and it dries and you try and go back to it, then you're still going to have that original line. So that's why it's sometimes a good idea to start off lighter, because then you can always add things to make it darker. Oh, let's do, okay.
You want to peek?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just.
Yep.
You want to peek?
Yep, let's do that.
This is your describing changes.
Okay. Whoa. You okay?
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is Judy's.
I almost died.
Al almost died. He's okay. He's still with us. So you can tell that this was her darkest wash here. So there's still that line, but she was still able to kind of blend it out. And I think that this coloring here is really beautiful. This is exactly what we're going for on our popsicles. And that was just a wash and then dropping that color in. So that's looking really good. I would say she's ready. Okay, and here is Jamie's. Same thing, this was kind of his darker, medium dark wash, so that line's still there. But this line is gone. It completely smeared out, which is great. That's what we want to know when we're painting, that you can get rid of those lines. And then here are his cool different textures and bleeds here. So this project is going to be so fun because just looking from Judy's to Jamie's, they're the same warm-up exercises, but they turned out different. Just
What flavor popsicle do you call that, Jamie?
Grape.
That's good. Good. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is let's get a big wet area, any color, but have it be kind of darker in value, so strong color. Nice and wet. And then we're going to drop some salt into it. And I have a salt grinder here. I like the salt grinder personally because you get different sizes of actual salt grains. You know what I'm saying?
Granules.
Granules, thank you. And so you just get different sizes and variation, which I'm a fan of. So, and I need to tell you, because I forgot to tell you this last time when we use salt, is it doesn't do anything until it dries. So I think it was Misty. She put so much salt on her watercolor sky that, I mean, the texture turned out super cool. She's like, you didn't tell me that it changes when it dries, so I just kept on adding salt because I wasn't doing anything. So sorry about that. I'm telling you now. You just got to wait a second and let that dry. So we'll revisit that as we're painting. But when you add salt, you kind of just let it be. And then when it dries, it kind of moves and does funky, cool things, which is what we want. So, okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Is it go time?
It's go time. It's
Well,
paint
we are
time.
doing this.
We're doing this. You guys ready? Okay. For our first popsicle here, in the very top, we have this really pretty, like, soft pink. And so to get that, let me make sure that my mixing tray's in frame here. I used a tiny bit of the daffodil yellow and then a little bit of the moss, and combine that together to get this really soft pink. Now there's going to be a little bit more of the moss rose in there than the daffodil yellow, so it's pinker. But you just kind of add little by little until it's a good consistency that you like.
Well, Mom wanted to know, Jenny wanted to know,
Yes.
will the paint spread differently on different sides of the paper?
Will the paint spread differently on different sides of the paper? Oh, like one side and another side?
Maybe.
Front and back?
What you talking about, Jenny?
If you're talking about front and back of the paper, you are correct, because especially with this Canson, it's like one-sided, so you're going to want to use the textured side. That is the watercolor side. The other side is just the back, and it's smooth. And I don't think that side is as absorbent as the textured one.
Quit being cheap and trying to paint on both sides of the paper.
Don't paint on both sides. Just use one side. No, I'm just kidding. Some of them are double-sided, but this one is not. So just if you have the Canson, paint on the more textured side. So I got my pink. And if you want to use your scratch paper to test the color before you lay it down, you're more than welcome to. I like that color. That turned out good. And you're lucky, Jamie.
Yeah, I turned out orange.
If you're turned out too orange, then you're going to want to add more pink. I'll make a little pile over here for you. And you want to make sure that there's a lot of water in there, because with watercolor, the more water, the lighter the color is going to be. So if you're painting it and you're like, okay, this is a good mix of orange and pink, but it's super strong, then you just need to add more water to lighten it up. So you're probably just going to use that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top of my popsicle here, and it's just going to be kind of like a curved rectangle here at the top. And I'm just going to kind of fill it in. This one is more of an even wash here. Now, if your popsicles are different sizes and shapes from each other, that is okay. Don't worry about it. Now, I didn't make mine a strong line at the bottom. I kind of am leaving it kind of jagged.
No, jacket.
Jacket. We're going to leave it jacket. That's a technical term. No, I'm just kidding. And, yep. So you're just going to kind of fill that in. Yep, very nice. And then I'm going to, for the bottom part, so this is kind of like the warm-up where we did a wash and another wash and then we combine them. That's essentially what we're going to do. We're going to do another wash, even wash at the bottom, and then we're just going to take water and blend them together. So our bottom wash is going to be the daffodil yellow and a little bit of the amber. So it's like this nice bright orange. And I'm just going to start at the bottom here. Now my bottom is a little bit wider than my top. And I fill that in. And then at this point, I'm just going to clean my brush and blend these two areas together and just kind of let them bleed together.
It's like a pastel paint Pac-Man.
A pastel Pac-Man?
Yeah, don't you see it?
Sure, yeah. So we're just going to kind of blend these together. Now they're going to do different textures and lines. I'm going to introduce a little bit of pink back into the top so it can blend out a little bit more. And you know what? Yeah. I think I actually made it a little bit more square at the top. So I'm just going to widen my top to be the same width as the bottom. And that's not hard to do. You just make it wider at the top and add to it. And just kind of blend. Yep, very nice. And then if you want to, oh, that's beautiful. And then while it's still wet, if it's not wet, then you can just add water on top of it to kind of hydrate it. I'm going to add a little bit more touch of orange at the bottom. You might want to do the same, Judy, just a little bit more of the amber. And because I want it to be nice and orange at the bottom. You have a really beautiful wash, so if you don't want to touch that, that's okay. If you like it, that's
like it.
okay. Then don't even worry about it. And then while it's still wet, I'm going to drop in some salt.
You need to get it wet again though with clean water.
Yeah, and it has to be wet during this time to add the salt. If it's dry and you put salt on top of it, the salt's not really going to do anything to the watercolor. Yep.
Whoa.
You got a lot there. And actually, I'll bring my warm-up paper. This is the salt as it's drying here. So I'm getting this different color variation because I used a wash and then a different color on top, and then I dropped the salt in, so it got some really funky, cool textures. Ooh, yeah, let's look at Judy's here. So that's hers too. So you just get some really cool textures, and these do not look the same. Let's see how yours turned out. I'm wondering if yours needed to be a little bit more wet. Yeah. So just, yeah, make sure. And also, if you're doing this on a really light wash of color, then you might get a little bit of variation, but it has a very strong, you can see it's strong when the color is really dark that you put it on top. So this one will get a little bit, but not probably as much as the other popsicles because this is kind of a lighter popsicle. Okay, so for our next popsicle,
If I have salt there, is that in the way?
if you have salt, I just kind of, yeah. If your popsicle's not too wet where it will drip, try and just knock it off. Because I'm like so afraid to like,
Yeah.
because I have paint on my hands all the time and I'll get like paint on my, so I just try not to do that. Okay, so for our next popsicle, this is the warm up where we get it wet. So we're going to do the entire popsicle shape just in water. Now our water is going to be, our popsicle is going to be a little bit colored since we have, yours will be, I would use that water.
Okay.
And I would use this clean water here. So then that way your popsicle doesn't have a color. And we're going to do our entire popsicle shape in water. Now I know that this is kind of hard because it's kind of hard to see since we're painting with water. So you kind of, if you have to like look from the angle where the glare is.
Am I coming close?
What?
I'm coming close. That helps.
I don't know if that would help with this because it's
It's water.
it's water. But you're gonna get that wet.
The whole inside wet.
The whole inside. So the entire popsicle outline and inside, you're gonna get wet. Yep. And then I did a mixture of the moss rose and the violet to get this like really deep, like pink purple color that I'm obsessed with right now. And then you're just going to drop in the color, kind of like how we did in the warm-up. So here and there, you can go near the top.
Ooh, I'm wet, wet, wet.
That's okay. If it's too wet, you don't like how much it's smearing, then wait a second for it to dry. If you want to control what those marks look like when you put it on the paper, then let it dry for a minute before you dab. But if yours kind of spread out a lot, we're embracing
Makes
it.
it my popsicle.
That makes it your popsicle. We're letting loose. We're embracing our differences. And we're just having fun, you know what I mean?
Ask them if they can hear us.
Can you guys hear us? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yes? No? Maybe so? Is my mic on?
No, it's not you.
Oh. Is it down? Should I pause, is what I'm saying?
Wait, let's see if we get some comments. Okay, let me load it up.
It's fine.
It's going good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then we're just going to let that dry for a second. We're going to come back to that and kind of shape our popsicle a little bit more, but it's too wet right now, so we're just going to move on to the next one. But they're looking really great. Okay, so for our next popsicle, we are going to do the top half first. So we're going to do our kind of half circle like we did in the warm-up, just with clean water. Mine's pink because my water is pink and I'm okay with that. And then I'm just going to introduce the color. And I'm just using moss rose for this. Just going to introduce the color just at the top. And let that bleed out.
Is that moss rose?
This one is moss rose. Yep. That's okay. That's cool.
Bleeding.
We are embracing it. That's cool. And I'm not going to mess with it too much because this one, I like to see the different textures. If anything, if you want to like drop in a little bit of like orange or whatever, you totally can. But I'm not going to mess with it too much because I want this one to just do its thing. Yeah, very cool. Okay, now the bottom part, we're going to do an even wash, so it's going to be the same. And I'm going to do like a light purple, very light purple wash at the bottom. And I'm not going all the way to the top. I'm kind of, because I kind of want like a white space in the middle, so I'm not touching this part yet. I'm connecting the sides. And I'm just going to get this a nice, light, even wash. And then I'm going to drop in some violet. Just straight violet. I'm just going to start dropping it in while it's wet, nice and wet. And this one I want it to spread. I want it to kind of go crazy.
This is violet.
Yes. And then while that is still wet and I dropped in, I'm going to salt it. What?
I'm gonna salt it.
Is that funny?
Salted.
Two nuts were walking, one wasn't salted. That's funny.
That's funny.
Just the bottom part.
Yeah, just the bottom part.
Then I'm gonna salt it.
And if you even want to drop in, I'm going to steal a little bit of Judy's dark violet here. And you can drop in color after you put the salt too.
Oh, we will see.
That's cool.
So I'm dropping in some color here.
That's cool.
And it's going to do its own.
It's like it's going under the salt.
Yeah, it kind of like moves around it. So the salt itself kind of like pushes the pigment like out in that little salted area. Oh, sorry.
You used my paint, I want his salt.
And then I'm just going to, with a clean wash, combine these two areas, the top and the bottom part of my popsicle. Now, if your pink is still really strong and it bleeds, that's fine. We want it to like move around and do crazy stuff. Yeah, very cool. I know, isn't this just fun?
Yeah.
This one you can't really like go wrong, you know what I mean? It's like it's gonna look super cool no matter what you do. Yeah, very nice. I love how that's spreading out. It's beautiful. Oh, look at that. Your salt is drying on that first. That's looking really nice. You got some, I'm gonna move this over here. So her salt has dried on her first popsicle and she got some really great textures, even with that really light wash. So, good job.
Good job.
Okay, now our final popsicle, we're gonna do in different sections. So this one is just the amber. And we're gonna do like a top here. It's just gonna be like a little rectangle.
This one.
Yep. And this one I want it to be pretty wet and pretty dark because we're going to salt this area. Just like that. I would even get yours darker from, I would pull from
Straight
there.
from there?
Straight from the pool of amber yellow I would pull from, yes. Same for you. I would put more and more color on that. Yep.
My friend from Georgia says that she didn't know that I was doing this, and that I have to send this to her.
You do.
And then salt it.
Yeah, and then salt it while it's nice and wet.
Are you guys?
Oh, wait, no, we're what? Doesn't he do the
Yeah. Throwing the salt over his shoulder.
throwing the salt? Do that?
Mom
All
was
that
coming here wondering what was going on.
There's gonna be salt everywhere. It's perfect.
Crunchy. Crunchy paint.
I actually woke up this morning and my husband got the girls cereals for breakfast and Luna's at the table putting salt. She found the grinders. So she's putting salt and pepper in her cereal.
Oh,
And I was like, ugh, she still ate it. I'm like,
Very sophisticated.
okay.
taste.
Yeah. It's like, let me flavor this sugar cereal with some salt and pepper. Okay. Then the next section we're going to do is a larger, same orange. This one I'm going to have it be a little bit lighter. And I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom because I'm going to do a nice dark pink at the bottom. So I'm kind of going, and I'm leaving a space in between the top two. So it's kind of a floating rectangle in there.
Lisa's asking, does the type of salt matter?
Lisa wants to know about the type of salt. Honestly,
Only a
Himalayan pink sea salt carried on the back of, no, I don't, I'm sure that there are different, like the bigger salt grains would matter, but I don't think so. I've just used like grinder salt and then, you know, those big tubs of salt with the girl with the umbrella.
Oh, Morton.
Yeah, Morton salt.
Carrie Householder says, I'm literally sitting here watching paint dry and I'm riveted.
Watching paint dry is a great time. Let me tell you. Okay. And then, so that's a lighter wash. I'm going to go ahead and salt that as well.
If mine's too dark, then what do I?
Yeah, I'll show you. So Jamie here, I'm going to move this up so you guys can see. This is his orange here. It got a little bit too dark. So all you have to do is you just have to rinse your brush, get it just with clean water, and you just lift up. And then pat dry on your paper towel. So you're just kind of lifting, you're pulling it off with clean water and the brush. Now you won't be able to completely erase it, but you can definitely lighten. And if trying to clean it off, if you put too much water on it on accident, then you can take your paper towel and just.
I feel like it's more passion fruit than orange now.
Yeah.
It is. It's a really nice sun-kissed orange, I would say.
The flavors have just changed.
Okay. Do you need salt?
Yes, please.
Yeah, salt that. Oh, I took your brush. Sorry. I'm like, Jamie, why aren't you painting? Jamie's like, can you? It's fine. It's fine. Okay, my first popsicle is drying. Can we get a close-up of this really quick, actually?
Yeah.
Because I am loving this color, and I want to show you guys close-up.
I'm putting some big chunks on here
Yeah.
so we can maybe see the difference.
Yeah, maybe do larger granules.
Oh, then I was supposed to salt that too.
Yeah, you'll probably have to get it wet again. Yeah. Okay, so, Jake, over here. Look at this.
Un momento, por favor.
Oh, is it not ready yet? Tell me when you're ready.
Still waiting.
Coming here.
Still waiting. There we go.
There we go. Okay. So I added salt on here, and the pink actually bled through. So I have pops of pink on the bottom of my popsicle, which is so cool. So I have that over here. So this is why salt work is so fun, because you just never really know how that's going to come out. And I wasn't planning that, but that was such a wonderful, happy accident that I love it. Okay. Salt.
Salt, please.
Okay. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a nice dark purple pink stripe on the bottom. So that is a mix of the moss rose and the violet. Now this is such a small area that I didn't add any salt to this one, but if you want to, feel free to. I'm just doing like kind of an even, strong colored wash here right next to my orange.
I'm still wet.
If you're still super wet, if it's starting to bleed, that's fine. Mine's dry enough that it's not bleeding. If you don't like that it's bleeding, then wait till your orange is dry enough that it won't kind of bleed into each other.
I think it's cool.
I think it's a cool tool. Yeah. Yep. And then we're going to do a nice soft pink, kind of similar to the first color that we had, right on the top of this orange. I'm not going all the way to the other orange. I'm just, because I want there to be like a white space there. Because you know how like popsicles are like, you know, like colors, like, you know, sometimes it is just white.
So true.
It's so true. No truer words have ever been
I
spoken.
was gonna say that. It's actually, yeah.
I just said what you were thinking.
Took my time.
Right. So I'm just going to kind of do this light pink. And I'm going to like blend my orange in a little bit with this pink and let that kind of, my orange is pretty dry, so it's not doing too much. If your orange is still wet, then it will bleed a little bit, which is cool. If it doesn't, that's cool too. I don't mind that it's just staying there. Very nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Judy.
I'm wet. I'm wet. I'm painting with
Too wet.
watercolors.
It's too wet. But that's good because you're getting some cool textures and colors.
Where's the blow dryer when you need it?
Do you know what's funny is I've never used a blow dryer.
Everybody talks.
I mean, for my hair, but not for. I own one. I have one. I may. Let me tell you something. I've never once used a blow dryer. My hair just looks like no. I don't use one. They would probably be smart, but I don't know. I just kind of like do other things while something dries. Anyways, the next thing we're going to do before we add our stems is we're going to kind of define the shape of our popsicles a little bit more. So I'm going back to popsicle number 2, and it's nice and dry now. You can touch it if you want. And what?
Some of us have.
Yeah, yours is actually still kind of wet there, but you can kind of play with the sides a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of smear the dots around that I placed. Because you know how popsicles, they have like this kind of shape where they have the outline and then there's like a divot on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Indentation.
Indentation, yes. So we're going to kind of like play with that a little bit and make one. So I'm going to make a smaller popsicle shape, just smearing the color that's already there. I'm going to try and make that indentation a little bit.
One big indentation.
Yeah. Kind of like, well, I kind of curved it. So I'm basically mimicking the outline of my popsicle just on the inside. And then along the edge of my popsicle, I'm going to spread the color a little bit more and define that edge a little bit more. And this is where you can, I'm going to actually drop in a little bit more color because I want some of the areas to be like really dark and strong. So I'm just kind of do little areas, almost like circular berry shapes. And if you want to play with other colors in this area too, like, you know, grab a little tiny bit of daffodil yellow and kind of put that in there. This is kind of where you can play. But we want them to kind of bleed out.
What other things would you paint? Like, are there other subjects that would be like the same kind of painting style?
Like really loose like this?
What?
Like,
yeah, like you would use these same kind of techniques on?
I mean, you use these techniques for like the dropping in and spreading out with color, like spreading out with water and dropping in color. I do that with leaves. Like usually like really free.
I feel like you could paint a rainbow after this easy.
Yeah, like rainbows would be no problem after this, but unicorns, easy. After this, you can paint whatever you want. But like you just use these different techniques in just about everything. So like leaves and flowers all do a lot of these same techniques in, because I feel like with florals you have a little bit of room to play because there's just large surfaces to cover. And you know, like landscapes, when we did like the galaxy and stuff, we're using very similar techniques that we did that night too.
Yeah, that orange popsicle could be a desert maybe.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of darker color here. But I feel really good about this popsicle. That's looking good. Oh, I like the yellow that you added to your purple.
It's a lemon grape.
Lemon grape, that sounds, oh, it should be like lemon lavender. Ooh, yes. Yeah, that's looking good. I want you to get like strong. I'm gonna take a little bit more. Like, so we have Jamie's here, and with Jamie's, we want it to have strong dark to light contrast here, and everything's reading a little bit medium. So I'm just gonna drop in some strong, like this is like pure pigment, very little water. I'm just going to start dropping that in. And then we just want to like spread that around a little bit, you know, kind of play. We want to leave some spaces really dark, but we kind of just want to play with a little bit of color here. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I love how these are turning out. Okay, so as far as our popsicles go, those are done.
We made them.
We made them. There, that's it. You guys did it. Now we just got to do our little popsicle sticks. So we're going to grab our golden brown here. And kind of like in the middle of your popsicle, you're going to do a long curved line. So just coming right out the middle of that.
I mean, in the meantime, too, I feel like we should look at everybody else's real quick.
Oh yeah, before we do the sticks.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's look at everybody's. We'll pause on that. Let's check in. Okay, so we have Jamie's here.
You gotta wait a sec.
Oh, okay, sorry.
There we go.
Sorry, there we go, okay. So we have Jamie's here. He got this really beautiful, like soft pastel-y wash on here. His salt didn't do too much texture because a lot of it was because it was just a really light wash. It did do...
It wasn't Himalayan.
And it wasn't the pink Himalayan. Man, no. But we did get some on the edges here. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think this popsicle looks really great, especially when we added those dark, stronger colors and kind of brought those out. Now this is looking super cool here. This bottom where we kind of dropped in darker colors after. Now there's still a lot of salt here. And for me, what we'll do at the end is we'll kind of just stand our paper up and like shake it off. And some of the salt is still going to stay on the paper because it's like dried there. I'm fine with that. I don't smear it around too much because I'm so afraid to like smear it. But, and then this over here is really cool. We got some great textures here. And then a little bit of his orange kind of bled into that pink at the bottom, which is super cool. And that was the salt that you put right there, moving that color out and kind of forcing it out. So we got some great stuff over there, but it's looking really nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let's look at Judy's here. So I love this first popsicle she got. She got some great salt textures going on right here. I think the salt just kind of moves that color out and kind of creates these spaces, but then where the salt stays, it kind of holds the color there too. So you almost get like this polka dot effect. And this is looking really nice. That defined popsicle shape is beautiful, and I like where the yellow runs in with the purple, like right here. It looks really nice. And this is super cool too. So you can see she did more salt over here, which looks really nice. And I like the difference between the lots of salt and then not so much over here. So this, and where this bled in is really beautiful too, right here. So they're looking great. Good job.
Thank you.
Jamie says she wants to do one for every room in the house.
Just every color. Put it in every room. Yeah, this is a fun one. Okay, now we're going to do our sticks. So we're just kind of going through and adding golden brown to the bottom here. Now, if your golden brown is too dark and you want to lighten it up, you can do that same thing where you just take a clean brush and lift off the color and then pat it on your towel. So some of my sticks are a little bit lighter than the other ones. That's okay. I'm a fan of different things happening at the same time.
Do you remember the popsicle that had the jokes at the end, or like on the stick? So
Bomb pop.
Bomb pop?
No.
Bomb pops, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was that it? Are you sure? I don't know if I've ever heard of a bomb pop.
They still have jokes on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I do remember the popsicles where you had to eat them, and then the jokes would be under.
People, no, it was like a
The
cheap
answer was
popsicle.
underneath the popsicle.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the answer's underneath the
Popsicles
popsicle.
are red, white, and blue.
Absolutely, yeah. You gotta get the name brand one, dude. You're over here getting.
It's like the Laffy Taffy of frozen treats.
It's really nice.
I was thinking Laffy Taffy.
Okay, I made my popsicle sticks.
Okay.
Moving on. Let's focus. No, I made my sticks, but to kind of like elevate them a little bit more so they're not just like, I don't know, brown things. We want to like create a shadow. So right at the top, because the popsicle itself, the frozen deliciousness, is casting a shadow on the stick because it's underneath. So at the very top, we're going to kind of darken this area like that. And I'm going to let it bleed out so it's not such a strong line. But essentially, we want it, the darkest area to be at the top, right underneath the popsicle, because this is a shadow. So you can see already the difference in this popsicle is this stick feels like it has more of a form itself because we put a shadow on it as opposed to this popsicle stick. I would go darker. Darker.
And we can switch to a smaller brush.
Yeah. You can still use your 10 as long as you are soft with your pressure because it has a nice point on your brush. So you can still do this fine work. I just moved to my 6 because it's smaller, but you can do the same thing. Yep. Very nice. So I'm going to do the same thing on all of those. Now on this one, so my popsicle stick was lighter and I added my shadow, but that just looks like a dark line, right? It doesn't really look like a shadow. So to help it, I'm going to clean my brush, kind of pat it dry so it's just damp, and I'm going to spread this out a little bit more. So then it looks like a more natural shadow, because a shadow usually has a darkest point and then gets lighter as it goes out when it's casting a shadow on something. So that's what we're mimicking here. So I have my darkest point and then it gets lighter as it goes out. And then I would even go in and do one more dark swoop right at the top.
I like different textures.
Hmm?
I like the different textures
Yeah.
that you get. You can. Some of my sticks are fatter than others because I guess they came from wider trees.
Yeah. Okay, I would even go darker on yours. One more, do another round.
Will you show us something?
Yeah. So here is, I'll move this up. Here is Jamie's hair. And what I've noticed about Jamie is he has a very soft hand. He likes to do light layers, which is great. It's good to do light layers, but sometimes you got to be like, I am putting this dark color down and it's going to be
Scary.
fine. It is scarier, but it just gets you there faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we want like that kind of strong darkness, and then you just blend
Push
it
it
out.
out.
Yeah, blend it out.
Okay.
So that's what we want this strong dark to like on all of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Silence, the sound of concentration.
Yeah. This is focusing time. Just like that. How are your shadows turning out? Yep, that's looking good. I would darken this one right here a little bit, and probably that one too. But they're looking good. Yes. Yes, there you go.
Still scary.
I know, it's scary. But it looks good.
And then do I rinse it?
Yeah,
too?
so what you want to do,
On the-
I'll move this over here. So we added this dark, and that looks really great, but now we have like this really strong line, right? So we kind of want to erase this a little bit and let that blend better. So I rinsed my brush, I kind of patted it so it's just kind of damp, and I'm going to lift this out and like just kind of blend it. So I'm kind of just moving and smearing like that.
But you don't want a line like that.
You don't want a super strong line. If that happens, if there's a strong line, then you just blend like we did in our warm-ups. And that will get rid of that strong line. But sometimes it's like, sometimes you blend so much that it takes out the dark. When that happens, you gotta wait for it to dry and just do it again. So I'm just doing one finishing.
Erica says, yum, I want to eat his first popsicle.
I know his first popsicle looks so good. Reminds me of like sherbet.
I believe it's sorbet.
Oh, sorbet, excuse me.
Sherbet? I still have no idea how to say that correctly. Sherbet.
Is there potato, you know what I'm saying?
I think when you're painting sorbet, you gotta.
Oh, sorbet, pinky out.
There's a subtle jab at our sherbet.
Judy's like, I'm doing sorbet over here, as you can tell. Okay, and then for me, I have this white space on my last popsicle, which is fine too, but I don't know why, but I kind of want to like mess it up. Even though I didn't, if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but I just want to see what's going to happen. So I'm just going to lightly put water in there and just kind of smear it around. Oh, that looks cool. See? If you like your white space, leave it. You don't have to do anything to that. I wanted to mess it up. Judy's already ahead of the game. Hers got a really cool wash on it. Okay.
Because I forgot to leave a white space.
Happy accidents here.
So Ashley on YouTube is doing this. It's her first time painting along.
Yeah, Ashley?
We gotta know how it's going.
How's it going? You feel good? Like what you're painting?
Show us pictures.
Yes, show us pictures. Send them in. Okay. And then mine is dry enough. If you're confident that it won't bleed, if you hold it up, then you can kind of like start to like knock off the salt. Now sometimes I'll like touch it, see if it will come off just by like slightly touching it. Then I'll knock it.
Ashley's gonna tag us on Instagram, so.
Oh, good. Ashley, I can't wait to see it.
Uh-oh.
Did it smear?
Yeah, a little bit. Just take water and put over it.
Yep.
Right? Blend it in.
Just blend it in. Hers got a little bit of a darker smear on her yellow. I'll move that over here so you can see. She got this little smear right here. She's just going to take water and blend that out. We're all watching, Judy. How's it going so far?
Ah, it's disappearing. It's blending.
I can only imagine.
Here, let's bring it over so people can see. Yep,
Highlight.
it's gone. And I'm going to, sorry, I took it from you while you were mid. Just going to lift that up. There. Wonderful.
All right, let's see it, people.
Let's see them.
Jamie,
There's Jamie's.
Sarah, and Jude.
And there's Judy's. Hiding behind her paper. Good job, you guys. This is going to be a really fun one to put up on Instagram or Facebook because everybody's is going to look so different. And I can't wait to see them. So you can post it in the Facebook comments if you're watching on Facebook. You can put it on Instagram. Just tag us in it. Our Instagram name is Let's Go Make Art, so you could actually tag us in it and we'll see it. Or you can hashtag Let's Make Art or hashtag Summer Popsicles is the name of this project. So please post it because I want to see it because this is a really fun project. And then next week, if you have the kit you already know, but some of you might not know, we are doing our waves, our ocean waves.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this one's going to be super fun. I'm really excited to teach this one. I'll see you guys here next week. I think that's it.
All right, have a great week.
Bye.